Let's see, let's see. Oops. Hello. Hello, hello. Let's see. Did she join? Okay. Hi. Come on.
Hey,
Hey.
can you see and hear me okay?
I can. Hello.
Hi, I'm super excited about this.
Me too. We have some people joining in. I want to let them join in a little bit before we start talking.
I love your background. Look at your flowers. Ooh.
Thank you. I just decorated and I'm like so excited because I'm like, yes, now I have a pretty background to do videos.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yes. I love your background as well too. I love plants. You have like a lot of
Thank you.
different plants
Yes.
going on. I love it. I'm building my little plant in my home. So I'm getting like different kinds of plants. But
Yes. I don't
hello.
know. They just make the space feel so much better, I think. Especially in the winter. I have to have plants in the winter, or else I'm like, oh, some
Yes,
green in my
yes.
life.
I got me some ginger tea going on.
Oh, nice, nice. I didn't bring anything to drink with me, but I just had lunch, so I've had plenty of water.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah. So, guys, can you comment where you are from in the comments? And then we'll get started.
Yeah. Hey, Charlie, I see you.
Hey, Charlie. Hello.
Andriana, I think we know each other too. Awesome. Thank you for coming.
Okay, we got Callie in the building. Washington State. Hello. Hello.
Sweden,
Portland,
wow.
Maine. Sweden. Wow. Hello. What time is it in Sweden?
Portland, Maine.
Las Vegas. Hey. Las Vegas is fun. Nice.
I've never been to any of those beautiful places, but sounds like it would be a good time.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess we can get started now. Oh, it's 20. What time is 21?
Oh gosh, I'm not good with military time.
Me neither. Is that like 1:36?
Ooh, sounds
Like 1:36 a.m.? I don't know.
maybe.
Okay, so I guess I could start with me since we started on the live. So for those, I was 9:36 p.m. Okay.
9:36. Okay, got it, got it.
Okay. So for those who are new to Habits of a Goddess page and may not know who I am, my name is Jasmine Rasco, and I am the founder of Habits of a Goddess podcast, self-love, self-care, and spiritual affirmations. And it's all about empowering women to awaken their inner goddess and just really become the best version of themselves. And also creator of Habits of a Goddess candle line.
Ooh,
I have a
beautiful.
candle burning right now. I have the rose quartz. I'm a divine goddess
Mm,
burning right now to kind of, get the vibe going. Get the vibe going.
yes.
And I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, too, as well. If anyone's from Georgia, hello. So, yeah, that's a little bit about me. And Ashley.
Yeah, so I'm Ashley Easter, and I'm super honored to be here on your live stream. I've been looking forward to this, and when I got the message in my inbox that you were like, yes, let's do this, let's connect, I was like, woo, I am so excited.
Yes.
Um, I love your beautiful work, and that candle looks amazing. Oh my
Thank
gosh.
you.
Yeah, I'm living in North Carolina right now, outside of
Not
Winston-Salem.
too far.
Yeah, yeah. It would be so much fun to connect one of these days. And I do two things. I have a nonprofit called Courage 365 to empower abuse survivors, and I do a lot of advocacy there. But more the kind of topic we're going to focus on today, I think, is my intuition work. And I am a coach that helps particularly women, men too, but mainly women, really tap into their intuitive power to really understand the science and practice of intuition so they can take charge of their lives. Because what I've found is when you don't have to rely on what everybody else is telling you to do, what culture is telling you to do, and making your decisions based on ego or what everybody else is saying, when you can really drop into your heart center and listen to your intuition, you have ultimate freedom and you really can create the life that you want.
I love that. I love that. And it's so funny because you brought up ego in that too as well. And I want you to dive into how can, women get to know the difference between ego and intuition? Because sometimes we kind of question, like, is this our heart? Is this our intuition? Or is this our ego, talking to us? So can you tell us a little bit how you tapped into that? You can elaborate more on that.
Absolutely. So I actually have a whole toolkit for free that people can download. And you can just go to ashleyeister.com/toolkit and get this. There's like a small ebook and some journaling prompts and a meditation all about the differences between intuition and ego. But just kind of briefly, for the sake of this conversation, for you to be able to tell the difference between intuition and ego, it's really important to be able to understand a little bit of the science behind it. And I promise you, this is not going to be boring science. It's actually super fascinating, I think, looking into the human psyche and all those things. So basically the way it works is this. You have a lot of different parts in your brain, but just to super simplify it, you've got the right side of your brain and the left side of your brain. And the left side of your brain is super analytical. That's the part that is consciously aware of everything that you're doing. Left side of my brain is thinking, okay, hey, I'm talking right now. I am looking at my phone, and my, conscious analytical mind is very aware of what's happening. Okay. The right side of your brain is a lot more analytical. It's a lot more creative. And that's where your subconscious lives. So you've got your conscious and your subconscious. Now your ego, that lives in the part of your brain, the left side of your brain, where your conscious mind is. And your ego is all about trying to keep you safe. And the ego is not all bad. I'm not one of those people that's we need to eradicate the evil of the ego, kill it, ego deaths. I'm not into all that. Because here's the thing. Your ego is trying to protect you. It's trying to keep you alive, but it has a limited perspective. So when you have trauma triggers come up, when you have anxiety come up, that's your ego trying to keep you safe, but being short-sighted and not necessarily seeing the full picture, so it gets afraid and nervous and panics about things that really aren't dangerous. And again, it's trying to keep you safe, but it's just super short-sighted because the left side of your brain, that analytical side, the details it has access to is only the stuff that it can see in front of you and the things that you can consciously remember. And so that's really a limited amount of data. Your intuition, though, lives in the right side of your brain, and it's in your subconscious mind, and it has access to so much more data. Your intuition has access to memories that you consciously can't remember, so all of your childhood memories, all of the experiences you've ever had. It has access to fetal memory, to ancestral epigenetics, information from your DNA. It can pick up on energy. There's, I could list 5 or 6 other things that your intuition has access to. And so your intuition, it is able to make decisions and come to conclusions based on a broader amount of information. And it's always coming from a place of love and expansion. Your ego is coming from a place of trying to keep you safe, staying small, staying in your comfort zone, and it's going to use fear to get your attention. So broadly, those are the two differences between intuition and ego. But the way you can feel it in your body, because it's great to know that science, but how does it feel? How do you know in the moment? So if you've got a feeling that is really hyper and there's a lot of anxiety or fear around it, if it's an energy of just scattered, should I do this? Should I do that? I don't know. And just really heightened emotion. that's
Mhm.
coming from your ego. And again,
I
it's
love
not
that.
trying to hurt you, but it's got limited perspective, so it's not always accurate. Your intuition is going to be calm, cool, clear, direct,
Mhm.
emotionless. You might have emotions about what your intuition says, but it's not going to, come at you with emotion. So it's
Yeah.
just going to be like, this is the way, follow this. And so that's how you can begin to feel the difference in your body.
I love that. I feel like with my work, I've been guided more towards intuition because everything's it's like
Mm,
feeling good. I'm
yes.
very calm and very peaceful, and things are coming to me sometimes um, when I'm not like trying to think about like
Right.
what to do. Like it just flows naturally to me. And I feel like with your
Absolutely.
work, definitely intuition.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. And that's really how you can kind of know when you're on the right path is, how are you feeling in your body about it? Um, and paying attention to things like, are you having those peaceful feelings? Are you having that sense of like, I don't know why, can't necessarily put my finger on it, but this is the right path. And also knowing that sometimes even when you're on the right path, your ego will get afraid of the thing that you're going to do, but it's afraid of it because you're going out of your comfort zone and the ego
Yeah.
wants you to stay in your comfort zone. And so even having that reaction can be a key for you to realize, hey, my ego's getting triggered, but it's getting triggered because it thinks this is not safe, but my intuition's telling me it is, and I need to trust intuition over that fear response that's coming up.
Yeah. I want to ask you, like, when did you what point or period in your life did you kind of felt like you needed to tap into your intuition? I guess kind of like reprogram like your DNA from
Mm.
like trauma and just reacting in a response of like limited beliefs and all that. Like, do you remember like what period in your life you like kind of made that transition to like tapping more into your intuition?
Yeah, definitely. So I had intuition when I was a very young child, but I actually grew up in a cult-like environment. So there was a lot of trauma happening, and the cult was really very patriarchally based. It was about, women, being submissive to men in pretty much every aspect of life. And, if I were to do things to quote unquote step out of line and kind of think on my own, that was labeled as rebellious or sin and something that needed to be trained out of me. And so as a young child, for my own emotional safety, I learned that I had to shut down that voice because
Mm.
I had to follow what everybody was telling me to do for survival. And if anybody listening is in a situation like that, whether they were experiencing that as a child or as an adult, like just know that sometimes for your own safety, you've had to not listen to your intuition because it's literally a dangerous environment, and your
Yeah.
intuition can help lead you out of that. But I have compassion for people in a situation like that because sometimes people literally block you from following it. And that was kind of my experience. And not surprisingly, I experienced multiple forms of abuse. And I won't go into that because we didn't have a trigger warning at the beginning of this, and I don't want to, cause anybody, to feel the feelings. But I left a very toxic relationship, still living in the cult, and I went through all the, post traumatic stress disorder symptoms, the flashbacks, the suicidal thoughts,
Mm.
the anxiety, panic attacks, nightmares, all of the typical things when you've experienced trauma like I had. And it was just so overwhelming. Like I didn't want to sleep because I would have nightmares about the situation, but I didn't want to be
Yeah.
awake because I would have extreme anxiety.
Yeah.
And so I was always in this limbo of like, oh, I just want to block out my thoughts because it's so overwhelming. And one night I stayed up really late and I just put in headphones and I turned up music really loud just to try to drown out the sound of my own mind. And I did that a lot because I was just trying to survive. And one night I had this, it felt like a presence come over me. It felt kind of weighty and important. And I heard this voice in my head, and it said, it's going to be okay. Something good, something big, something good's about to happen. It's going to be okay. Something big, something good's about to happen. And that's really the moment when my intuition was able to break through. And I listened to that, and it gave me hope. It gave me like, okay, maybe there is, something worth living for after all this trauma. And it was true what the voice said. Within a couple of months, I met somebody who introduced me to the concept of equality for women, which then led me down the path of exploring like how the other beliefs from the religious movement had been really toxic and abusive. And then that led me to eventually leaving the cult, finding my soulmate, getting married, moving states, starting a nonprofit, starting a business. And, now I literally use intuition for every area of my life, from the big decisions to business decisions to life decisions to going to the grocery store and picking out produce. Like I use it for picking avocados and tomatoes. You can literally use it for everything.
How do you get the right avocado?
Yes. So that's sort of when intuition broke through. And once I got married, I was in a safe place where I could begin like really exploring and trusting my intuition and just realizing how life-changing it was. And then I eventually developed intuition mastery and the intuitive success membership just to help other people find that freedom. But that's sort of the journey of what got me to really teaching about intuition.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I want to point out too, because I know a lot of women probably may ask you, like, what's that one big thing you did? But I want to point out, because I get asked this sometimes, like, what is that one big thing you did to transform your life or to just start? And it's like, it's not really one big thing. It's like baby steps. Like everything you took, like it was like one foot in front of the other. It was baby steps that led you to, this beautiful person you are today. And so I just want to acknowledge you for, listening to your intuition when you heard that voice and you started taking those steps, and that led you down to this path and that path, and you started your nonprofit organization, you started your business, and you met your husband. So I think that's beautiful. And that's, women need to, see that, like, it's not just one big wake up call and boom, you have this perfect life. It's like baby steps, and it's like moving the needle 1%.
Right, 100%. And that's the thing with intuition. A lot of times it will tell you, it will give you a message, or it'll direct you to take a step. And you don't know how that's going to work out. And it doesn't make sense, like, wow, this is a big risk. But when you take that step, when you make that leap, then the next step and the next door, unfolds for you. And then you look back years later and you're like, whoa, look how far I've come. And if I hadn't followed that first step, I wouldn't have been able to do the next and the next, and to really design the life that I wanted.
Yes. And I truly believe you're given like a vision of like only 200 feet in front of you, like what to do next. Like that's like, as long as you take that jump, that leap of faith, then you'll see like what to do next after that. Like, but you just have to like be open and trust your intuition.
100%. Yeah. And if anybody's wondering like how you can know when your intuition is speaking, like we talked about the difference between intuition and fear, but there's 4 main ways that intuition likes to communicate. And so one of the ways is through hearing, and I'm putting that in quotation marks because that night when I heard, it's going to be okay, something big, something good's about to happen. If you'd been sitting beside me, you would not have heard that. Like it wasn't audible. It was in my mind. But intuition often uses words, phrases, songs, things that come from our subconscious that are popped up to our conscious mind to get our attention, and will give us these really profound messages. And that can be a way that intuition communicates. But there's 3 other ways it can do that. So there's also this idea of your intuition allowing you to see things. And I again put that in quotation marks because it's not like you have an apparition, come in front of you, but more so like in your mind's eye, maybe you have like, it's almost like a little video that plays, or you have an image that pops up, or a color when you're in a meditation and it means something to you.
Yeah.
And so that's a way it can communicate. Also, the traditional, like gut feeling that people talk about. So you can feel it in your body from your gut. Sometimes I get chills up and down my arms or legs, or, just in different places in your body. Some people feel it in their heart center, or their third eye starts vibrating. But that's another way intuition can get your attention and communicate. And then the other one is through just a sense of knowing, because intuition, comes from your subconscious mind. It actually filters through all those different data points I mentioned before and pops up, pings an answer to your conscious mind. And it can usually do it within like 1 to 3 seconds. Like, it does it very quickly. But you won't know the whole analytical process it went through. It doesn't tell you how it came to the conclusion and all the data it used. It just gives you a knowing, and all of a sudden you'll be like, I didn't know that, and all of a sudden I did. And so those are ways you can begin to pay attention to how intuition is speaking, because it's always trying to give you guidance and direction for like every area of your life.
Yeah. I think at times, like, I'll hear a voice and it's like, go that direction or go that way. And it's like, okay, I'll take that path. And it either prevent me from like maybe an accident or, or I meet someone completely stranger, and like we just have this rendezvous, like we just, click and we have a beautiful conversation. And it's like, okay, that was me listening to my intuition to go here.
That's so beautiful. No, I love stories like that. I've had my intuition lead me to all kinds of wild places, and meeting people that were like waiting there because of their intuition. And it was just like, whoa, it's so amazing how this can happen.
Yeah. If you guys have any question for Ashley, comment below and she'll definitely answer your questions.
Definitely, for sure. So I love talking about the subject of intuition. I was curious, have you had any interesting, like, you kind of talked a little bit about intuition experiences. Do you have any other ones that you like sharing?
Okay. It would make sense to me to talk about this because we're on Habits of a Goddess page, but creating Habits of a Goddess. So I created in May last year, but before I created the podcast, I'm not going to lie, I was a little nervous to create it because it was me sharing like a more vulnerable side of me, and like publicly.
Right.
Anyone can like tap into it and listen. And something told me to just do it, like to just start talking. And even still today, sometimes I get a little nervous, talking, public speaking or whatever. But once I start talking, once I start, talking, like all those nerves just kind of go away and I'm in my zone.
Right.
But I felt so like strong guided to start the podcast to share my personal journey, my personal healing journey with women, because I knew it was something that it has helped me to a certain part of my life. Like I went to therapy for 4 years, and after that I was like, okay, like I felt like I needed something more, but like I felt like I expanded beyond my therapist. And it's like, okay, what did I learn? What did I do during those 4 years period? Like what helped me get to this point? And it went back to like the power of like positive thinking, like affirmations. And I was like, okay, what can I do to show women like how this worked for me? And my intuition was like, just start. Like, don't try to like figure it out. Like, don't try to make it perfect. Don't try to sound perfect. Don't worry about like who's gonna listen. Like, just do it. And for 10 months, I created like, episodes without me showing my face because I wasn't focused on like promoting me.
Right.
Like I have my personal brand, Jasmine, and like I show my face all over. But like when it came to Habits of a Goddess, a part of me was like, just do it and don't like worry about like, yourself. And then a part of me was like hiding a little bit because I'm like, oh, I'm being vulnerable. I'm showing the world like things I'm working on or things I've, worked on that has worked and helped in my life. And so the first episode was self-love. And that's something that I feel like when you're starting your healing journey, you should always definitely start with yourself and, look inward and see what areas in your life that you want to improve and work on. And I started that. And then I started morning and bedtime and like different affirmations that cater to my personal healing,
Right.
growth. And so I looked up 10 months later and I see women like all around the world, like, are loving the podcast and they're feeling connected. And I'm like, oh my God. Like they didn't know who I was for 10 months. So I'm like, oh my God. Like I'm reading all these like beautiful messages. Everyone's saying, I love your voice. And, like, or this episode made me cry. And it's like, oh my God, I listened to my intuition. Spirit, something in me was like, just do it. Just do it. Like, don't try to make it perfect. I don't have fancy equipment. Like, I just did the thing. And that's me listening to my intuition and following through. And a year later, I'm like, wow, I'm glad I listened to my intuition because I'll get like random messages either on or like notifications and somebody will be like, I was crying and then I saw this pop up and I needed this. And it's like, to me, that is like success. To me, that is success when you're like making a positive impact in women's lives or just anybody, but like in people's lives by just following your heart and doing things from like a good place of just, you want to like inspire and help others that, something that you've accomplished on your own. And whatever that looks like, for me, it has been using my voice. And it's a little raspy right now, so I have my ginger tea, but like just using my voice and not hiding behind like my, I guess, vulnerability, just putting myself out there.
Right. Oh, that is
Anyone
so
can like tap into it
beautiful.
and listen. And I'm like, oh. Press
Wow.
play, press send out into the universe.
That's amazing.
So that
And
would be like, I think my biggest like aha, like to date intuition, like moment of like, just do it. Just do it. Don't worry about, anything. Just go ahead and do it. Don't try to make it perfect.
I mean, that's such a powerful story. And it also just shows like one of the things about intuition is it's always about love and expansion. And not just for the person who's listening to the intuition, but also for the good of the planet. So you listening to your intuition to start Habits of a Goddess has been a way for you to receive more love for yourself from people who are listening.
Yes.
And also it's expanded who you are as a person. And then in turn, other people who are listening, they have been able to experience that self-love that you're putting out and expanding their horizons. And so I just love how when you listen to intuition, it's not just good for yourself, but it's good for everyone.
Everyone.
Yeah, I think that's something that if anybody listening like struggles with listening to intuition because it feels like a quote unquote selfish decision because it's not in line with what you've been told is the right step to take, based on society, family, friends, or whatever, just know that when it is your intuition speaking, it's going to be good for you, but it's also ultimately going to be good for everybody else. And so you can just lean into trusting that. I love, love, love that story.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely trust. And, you know, I would say nurture that intuition, like nurture it and nurture whatever it is that it's guiding you to do. Like don't tell everyone around you because their limited beliefs will kind of dim whatever you have going on. If you're not strong and have conviction in what you're doing, you may not follow through with it. So, when you get that nudge to do something, like don't ask for permission to do it. Like don't start asking everyone around you for permission. Just do the thing.
That makes so much sense. Yeah, I totally agree. Like if you're, like you said, in a rock solid place where it doesn't matter what other people say, you just feel really firm in it, then share. But if you're not feeling that, like don't let other people influence you. And
Yeah.
that's really one of my messages to my clients and students about intuition is like when you're able to release the expectations of other people and the societal requirements of you, and instead just tune into your intuition. When you can follow that, you really can experience freedom. When you're free of all those expectations, anything's possible because, again, intuition is all about love and expansion. And you can't even imagine everything that your intuition has in store for you when you follow it. And it's such a powerful tool. Yeah, it's so powerful. It's changed my life. And I know it can change everybody else's life too.
Yes, for sure. And I want you to talk a little bit about your nonprofit, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah. So Courage 365, it actually started out called the Courage Conference, and we still do an event like that, but it
Mhm.
started out as just an event and then evolved into a nonprofit. And basically what happened was when I came out of the cult, I started writing about different experiences that I'd had, and I had really like hundreds of people reaching out telling me they'd experienced similar abusive situations. And mine was within a faith church context, a lot of it,
Mhm.
as my grandfathers were pastors and I was, being a pastor's granddaughter, there's just a lot of baggage um, from the trauma I experienced and the connection to the church. And what I saw and what so many people were telling me was that they'd been abused or, mistreated in faith contexts. And they felt really alone and isolated. But I knew they were not alone because
Mhm.
like hundreds of people are telling me the
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah. You're never alone.
Right. And so I was like, how can we help them not feel alone anymore? So it was an intuition thing where I got this download from my intuition. It said, you need to start a conference. It's going to be called the Courage Conference. It said something about 200 people and $10,000. And sure enough, first event I had ever planned like this, I was, let's see, I think I was 24 years old. So, like, never had any experience with this. It was a sold out event, 120 people in person, 80 people watching online. So that 200 number came through. And the event cost a lot more than $10,000, but the $10,000 thing came into play because we'd invested a lot of our own money into it and we gave away a lot of free tickets for survivors. And after the event was over, we were given a large donation to be able to cover some of the costs that hadn't been, fully paid for. And it was in the amount of $10,000. And then we continued to have this event every year. And it's just a space where survivors can get together in person. They can know that they're not alone. They can be connected to resources. We have stories and shares from people who have experienced abuse, from mental health professionals, coaches, and lawyers, and just all kinds of people who are around this field, and just to empower people. Then it took on the form of a nonprofit of our own, and we have actually weekly video streams on the Courage 365 Facebook page where we talk to different guests about empowerment and healing. um, Last year, because of COVID, we didn't have the Courage Conference in person. But we had something called the 30 Days of Courage Challenge in October, and we had some amazing speakers like Leah Remini. I don't know if you're familiar with her. She was Scientology in the Aftermath. She was on King of Queens.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but she had escaped Scientology abuse. And then there was Jonathan Sheck. He's a male survivor. Sarah Ann Massey, who is a Harvey Weinstein survivor, and then also other, survivors who'd experienced abuse in like local church environments. And we were just really able to get, I think it was 700 people that, came for it
Mhm.
online. And it was just such a powerful, powerful thing. Um, and my work with intuition, though it's separate, like it's not the nonprofit, it's my business, there's just, definitely an overlap because as a survivor myself, it was intuition that helped lead me out of those dangerous situations and get to safety, and then realize that I'm worth, fighting for. I'm worth finding the life of my dreams and taking back my control and freedom of my life. And so definitely intuition plays into those types of things, whether it's the creation of the nonprofit, but then also like the healing journey that survivors go through. Intuition makes it a much smoother journey than, you know, not using intuition for your healing path.
Yeah, it definitely plays into it with your nonprofit, you know. So it's really good that you can kind of tie the two together.
Yes, I'm really thankful for that.
Yes. Do you ladies have any questions for Ashley? Don't be shy.
I see lots of flowers and stars and sparkles, hearts, very inspiring.
Oh, lovely. Thank you for the
life is an amazing journey. So true. Let's see. Scrolling through here. Love your podcast. Yes, amazing podcast that you have. Beautiful.
Parents live in Atlanta. Thank you.
So cool. Yeah. Also, if you all have any blocks or situations around intuition that you need some support on, I'm happy to talk about that as well, even if it's not a direct intuition question, but like how you can apply it to a situation. Like, happy to answer those as well.
Yeah, we could definitely talk about that. I mean, the live's going to be safe, so maybe someone who's watching it later could definitely benefit from it. So thank you for joining. Got a couple people just joined.
Yes, welcome. Any and all questions about intuition are welcomed.
Yeah, let's definitely talk about how to release some blocks around intuition.
Sure. So one of the biggest blocks I think people have around intuition is believing that they have a blocked intuition. Just subconsciously believing that your intuition is broken or blocked can actually be the thing that's really blocking it. Like, you don't really have anything else that's blocking it. It's just purely the belief that you can't hear from it. And one of the ways to overcome that is to make a list of all the times you have heard your intuition in the past. Even if you didn't listen to it, it's okay. Add that to the list too, because even if you didn't follow your intuition, it's still a data point to remind you that it was speaking. And even if you didn't follow it, it was right. And you can know you can trust it next time. Other blocks people often have around intuition is stuff like, you know, my intuition was wrong in this area and I listened to it and it didn't go well. Well, what I usually find when I'm helping people through the situation of where they're saying their intuition was quote unquote wrong, their intuition wasn't actually wrong. They just don't have a deep relationship with their intuition. And so they mistook ego for intuition. And the more clear you are on between the differences and how that feels in your body. And like I said, I have that intuition versus ego toolkit for free that you can download. You can then know for sure that it has your back and when it's actually speaking to you. So I think a lot of the confusion comes from just not knowing intuition's voice very well. And then the last block that's kind of coming to my mind, and feel free to throw any others out that you think that I've maybe missed talking about, but it's more about like just a fear of trusting it, just a fear of like, my intuition, I think, is calling me to take this big leap of faith, and you know, it's really scary and I don't know how I can trust it with this. Start practicing using your intuition on little things. Like, start practicing using it at the grocery store or on your walk, you know, which direction you go. Use your intuition on, you know, what music you listen to, or, you know, what Instagram accounts you want to follow, and just practice using it in those little areas. And every time you listen to it, your intuition is like, okay, they're paying attention. Okay, I can speak up a little louder next time. And you can begin to develop that relationship and gain trust so that when intuition speaks to you about big things, you feel really confident about following it because you have all these data points of how you know it had your back. And then also ask your intuition questions. Don't wait for it to just talk to you. This is like a conversation, a relationship. Tune in and ask your intuition, you know, what do I need to know? And one of my favorite tools for that is something that I call the 3-second rule. So basically what it is your intuition is able to process data from your subconscious mind really, really quickly underneath the surface and ping up the answer within 1 to 3 seconds. So since we know that science, what you can do is you can ask your intuition a question, and the first thing that comes to your mind within 1 to 3 seconds is very likely your intuition. After that,
Yeah.
it's your ego getting in and, like rationalizing
Trying to
pros
talk
and
you out of
cons.
it.
Yes. But just practicing asking your intuition what it thinks about something and then following through with what it says. Those are some ways to kind of overcome blocks and obstacles.
Yeah. Have you ever been singing a song and then like maybe you go into a grocery store and that song is like playing?
Yes. Yeah.
Would you say that's like a little small like
About a
intuition?
friend and all of a sudden they call you.
Yeah. Oh my.
Oh, your voice
Uh-oh.
kind of broke up there. Can you hear me okay?
Okay. Is it? I think we're good now. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, yes. I'm not sure what the
Okay.
last
Okay.
thing was that you said.
um, I was saying like the song, like thinking of a song, and then going to the grocery store or riding in the car, and the song is playing.
Yes, yes. And also, have you ever had that experience where maybe you're thinking of a friend and all of a sudden they call or text you out of the blue?
All the time. All the
Yeah.
time. All the
So
time.
intuition is able to pick up on quantum energy. And so it's able to feel and sense the energy around you. And it can tap into that and give you messages. And then you get confirmations later when that thing, comes to pass. Like your friend probably was tapping into that energy too. And that's why they connected with you. Or you were tapping into the energy of that song that was already getting ready to play. And so yeah, intuition is so cool that way.
What about dreaming? Like, have you ever like had a dream of someone or like a dream of like being in a room and then like it happens or like or that person calls you that you had a dream of? Like,
Yes, yes. 100% intuition can talk and speak through dreams. And why it works that way so well is um, that when you're dreaming, you are like totally in your subconscious mind. And remember, that's where your intuition lives, is in your subconscious mind. And so your ego is like gone when you're dreaming, like it's not there.
yeah.
It's gone so much that you forget you have a body when you're dreaming. And so it's much easier for your intuition to access information when you're dreaming. And in my course, Intuition Mastery, it's 6 weeks from Intuition Curious to Full on Intuition Master. We actually have a bonus module in there all about decoding intuitive dreams, because sometimes it will use symbolism,
Mhm.
sometimes it will use recurring dreams, and just how to interpret those. Because, yes, intuition definitely tries to get your attention through dreams. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely like I'm always like if I'll wake up like in the middle of the night, I'll like Google like what does this mean me dreaming of a big whale or what does this mean
Yes,
me dreaming
yes.
of this? And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
That is so amazing. I love that. And anybody can have intuitive dreams, but I think some people come by it a little bit more naturally. And so I love that that's a gift that you have to be able to pay attention and recall your dreams. That's really
Can you see me?
Oh, yes, I can see you now.
Okay. I was getting a phone call.
Oh, okay. Understand. Oh, wow.
I didn't catch the last part that you said though before the phone ring.
Oh, yeah. So just, I think it's a beautiful gift that you have to be able to remember your intuitive dreams, because everybody can develop that skill, but some people just have it kind of naturally practiced. And so I think it's really beautiful that you have that. And we've got, let's see, hipster.
I
Liz
love
says, I
intuitive
love
dreams.
intuitive dreams. Yes. Maybe share in the comments one of your favorite intuitive dreams you've had.
Yeah, please share. Do you guys have like a dream book? Do you guys like have like a journal by your bed and when you have dreams and like maybe write them in your journal?
That is such a powerful tool. I love doing that. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, for sure. Mm.
Yeah, but if you guys have any questions for either me or Ashley, ask away.
I think one of my powerful intuitive dreams was I had this dream that I was in the basement of my old church, and there were like little girls who needed help. And I, in the dream, was like helping them. And then very soon after, I started my advocacy work, particularly for women who had who had experienced abuse in church environments. And so I just think dreams can be so amazing like that, kind of
Yeah.
prophetic.
Yes. Okay, hipster. She said, "Wow, so many. I've always write them when I wake up. I love to look back on those when they manifest." Yes, that's
Mm,
beautiful.
I love looking back.
Charlie, before my grandma passed away, she would journal a lot about her dreams. I want to start this practice. That's beautiful. Definitely, definitely. I would definitely start writing your dreams down and just like kind of going back and looking at them and seeing like what manifests. And I think that's really nice that your grandmother did that.
Yeah. And taking intuitive practices like that from ancestors is a really beautiful thing. That's another thing I teach in my courses is that there's a lot of intuitive tools that we can try, but some of the most effective intuitive tools are ones that our ancestors have used, whether they are
Mhm.
like recent ancestors, like your grandmother, or looking back in your family heritage and lineage of what type of intuitive practices were used. And sometimes people won't use the word intuition, they'll call them some other type of a spiritual practice, but that will be the
Mhm.
base of what it really is. So some people have a history of using things like cards and tarot decks, and
Well,
others have history of relatives who were just very good with dreams, or just maybe use different kinds of like intuition circles or meditations to tap in. And when you can kind of research your ancestral history around intuition, I always say that those are great go to tools for you because it's probably already kind of in your DNA memory. And so it's going to
mhm.
be easier for you to access that intuition because it's been practiced through your family line for a long time.
Yeah, that's true. Are you into tarot cards?
I don't use tarot as much. I like tarot cards. I'm a big fan of oracle cards. Those are my favorite, but I do
Okay.
respect tarot. It's
Yeah,
I'm more of an oracle card girl. What about you?
I like tarot cards.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I like them.
Good points as hipster. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
always open to what feels good to me, and I just kind of
Mhm.
like, go in that direction. If it feels good, I'll try it.
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah, there are so many intuitive tools, whether it's cards. I love pendulums,
Me
and
too.
yeah, those are powerful. Um, have you ever done a follow your gut day? That's one thing that I teach in my course is
No.
basically just setting aside maybe a whole afternoon or even a whole day and just setting the intention of I'm going to follow my intuition the whole
Hmm.
day. And I have had it drive me all around to different places to experience all kinds of different things, to meet people that I didn't know were going to be there, and just giving it kind of free range for an afternoon. And sometimes
Okay.
I'll even give it like a dollar amount. I'm like, intuition, you have $15 to spend, where should I go? And it just like leads me to these different places. I kind of give it a little budget to use. And
Yeah.
so doing that's a great way to explore and have fun and like use the playful side of intuition, because yeah, it can help you with some pretty serious life decisions, but also intuition there is ready to play with you and to have fun and create memories and broaden your horizons.
You know what? I actually have done that. I just didn't, I guess I didn't acknowledge that it was intuition because I've just
Yeah,
been in the car and I'm like, where I'm gonna go today? And I just kind of drive and like let, I guess, my gut intuition take me wherever I'm going for the afternoon.
that is
And
so
yeah,
cool.
so yeah, I have.
I love that so much. Yeah, it's fun. I've got to do another date with my intuition pretty soon because it's been a little while.
Yeah, I think that's a good challenge to do.
Yes, yes.
Thank
Awesome.
you, ladies, for joining.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, well, I'm not seeing any more questions.
If
What
you
do you
ladies
think?
have any more questions, ask away. If not, then I guess we'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
Would
And
you
maybe
like to
we'll,
share? Okay.
oh, go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say, would you like to share your social media or your website, anything in the comments? Um,
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So, I'll kind of give you just a little rundown of the things I offer and then I'll drop them in the comments. So, um, my Instagram is at I am Ashley Easter, and that's where I do most of my intuition work. My nonprofit stuff, my advocacy work is more on Twitter, which is Ashley M. Easter. Um, and then I have a couple of different offerings. One is I'll be launching again in September my 6-week course, Intuition Mastery, where it really helps you step into your intuitive power and become an intuition master. That's currently just has a wait list for right now, but what I do have open at the moment is my Intuitive Success membership. And so every month inside the membership, we have these beautiful intuition circles. And, we talk about intuition and all the woo things. I bring in intuition teachers. Like next month, we're going to be having a Reiki master talking about intuition and, having everybody experience that. We've got meditations to really access intuition because that's a great place to get like just dropped into your subconscious. And then on top of that, everybody gets 2 card readings per month inside the membership. And so all of that is just at ashley.easter.com/membership. And we're always, right now taking applications and, having people join us. But then one of my free offerings is the Intuition versus Ego Toolkit, which is just ashley.easter.com/toolkit. And it's got a meditation, journal prompts, a little ebook about the differences, and would love, love, love to have you take a look. Yeah, Hipster says, ooh, awesome. Yeah, I would love, love, love for you to take advantage of that. I'll just go ahead and type these in the comments there.
yes, definitely add it to the comments and I'll pin it.
Okay, cool, cool.
Thank you, ladies, for hanging in with us this lovely. Okay, let me pin that. Oh, there we go. This lovely evening.
All right, there's the last one. Yeah, I had so much fun. I really appreciate this opportunity to chat with you. You have such a beautiful energy about you, and it was really an honor to be on your stream. So thank you, thank you.
I love your energy too. It's so beautiful. And I think this is so wonderful, just getting and connecting with like-minded women, all around the world. So this is beautiful.
Yes,
So thank you.
absolutely. Thank you.
All right, ladies. Well, if you don't have any questions for Ashley, I am, I guess, gonna wrap up the live, and hopefully we'll see her again really soon. Really soon.
Sounds good. I would love that. I would love, love, love
Okay.
that. Oh,
Oh,
Charlie
thank
says
you.
y'all are beautiful. Love both of your energies. We love you too, Charlie. Sending you so
Thank
much love.
you. Thank you. And for those who
Oh,
are just joined, I'm gonna save the live so you guys can replay it. And I don't know if it'll save on your side, but she'll share the live on her
yes, I
stories.
will.
All right, so that's it. Thank
All
you, ladies. Oh,
right.
hold on, there's
Bye-bye.
somebody. Someone asked a question, hipster.
Oh, how long have you been on this journey? Yeah, so I left the cult when I was 22 years old. My ideology started changing when I was 21, but I got married at 22, and that was my physical leaving. And I've been on my intuition journey ever since then, and then practically using it, and then really going deep into study about the science behind it over the last probably 5 years or so. Yeah, yeah.
Nice. You ladies have any more questions? Definitely want to catch them before.
Mm-hmm.
If not, then love it. Thank you for asking.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, ladies. Well, I'm gonna. Thanks for. Oh, thank you.
My pleasure.
All right. Well, thank you, Ashley. I am so happy that we connected, and I look forward to seeing your beautiful work. And thank you so much.
Absolutely. I feel the same way about you. Sending you so much love.
Sprinkle, sprinkle. All right. Thank you, ladies. Bye.
Bye.